Please turn with me in your Bibles to Galatians chapter 4. For those who have never had a chance to say to, I trust that you had a wonderful Christmas day and that the season is going well for you thus far. I also want to thank everyone for, that this is again on behalf of my family, for wonderful past and family appreciation last week Sunday. I think that you guys did a wonderful job and it is well received. And you deserve the accolade, you deserve the credit, but God deserves the glory. But we celebrate together. We are one family and we are moving forward together into the new year as we approach. So God bless you for all your gifts and for the words of encouragement, those spoken, those written on cards and text messages. It is well appreciated, well received, and we truly appreciate the family here in Sunday and also the community of Sunday. God bless you. Galatians chapter 4, reading two verses 4 and 5. I'm reading from the New King James Version, which reads, "But when the fullness of time comes, God sent forth his Son, born of a woman, born under the law, to redeem those who were under the law, that we might receive the adoption as sons." We say amen to the reading of God's word. I want to share with you today on a topic, perfect timing. Perfect timing. It is something that we sometimes struggle to achieve, the perfect time. We love when everything is on time. But guess what? We are not perfect. So in recent days, going back to Christmas Eve, it was all over the news media that several flights were cancelled. A number of persons didn't get to go to their families and to be with their loved ones because flights were cancelled. And when you look inside some of the major airports, all eyes would have been on the flight board. People are checking to see the status of their flights. When they see delay, the expression and the body language, it is always going to change from positive to negative. When they see cancel, that is even worse, because what am I supposed to do now? The flight is cancelled. But when people look up and they see on that board, on time, you are at ease and you feel as if you can relax a little bit more because your flight is on time. If you gaze for a minute and look up and you see delay, you start fretting. Oh, Jesus, I want to smile. And it is worse if you need to get to somewhere where something special is happening or somebody is waiting for you that's special. And you really want to get there. Brothers and sisters, we like it when we have everything on time. But it doesn't work that way all the time, especially according to our time. But there is a God that we serve who is always on time. There is no delay with God. There is no cancellation with him. And every time you check that status, it will always say, in accordance with his word, on time. God is never late. God is never confused about the time and where he is and what we need and what's supposed to happen for us. God He came, born of a woman, to redeem those who were under law. Brothers and sisters, Jesus is God. Therefore, he has the power and the resources to set men free from the bondage of sin. He came to purchase man out of the slave market, so to speak, from the guilt of sin and the elements of the world. He came to redeem those who were under law, that we might receive the adoption as sons. Now I think this is what caps it off so beautifully, with the perfect timing of God. Oh, brothers and sisters, what Paul had in mind was the Roman custom of adoption, where adopted sons were not treated as outcasts, or they were not treated as the others, they were not treated as stepsons and daughters, but they were given absolute equal privileges in the family and equal status as heirs. Everything that the biological child was to get, the adopted child was to get the same thing. There could be no discrimination, there could be no bias, there could be no partiality in that adoption process. That adopted child received the status of the biological one. Paul says that is why Jesus came. And in my mind, it was perfect. In my mind, God worked it out in accordance with his will and purpose. And brothers and sisters, if we are to embrace the perfect timing of God, then we have to embrace the fact that Jesus came just at the right time. It couldn't have been earlier, nor could it have been later. And we must seek to apply this passage to our lives today. Certainly, Jesus Christ is not a baby anymore. One man was praying to God concerning the crime and the violence, and he said, God, you can't send me to Jesus again right now. A big man thing about right now. I don't know everything about now. But we still recognize the birth of Jesus and the coming as a babe, but he did grow up. And he did fulfill his purpose and his mandate. So while we still acknowledge Christmas, it's not a baby we are celebrating. We are celebrating the fulfilled mission and work of Jesus Christ. Only that it started somewhere as a baby. He came into this world. He became man. But we must be careful to apply the biblical text to our 21st century. What does this mean for us today? Fine, it means that we still recognize Christmas. It means that we still recognize the traditions that we've held to for ages. But outside of traditions, how can the scriptures help us? Brothers and sisters, I want to leave 3 thoughts with you from this passage. God's timing is always perfect. You hear that? God's timing is always perfect. It may not appear to be working out as you planned it or when you are planned it for, but God's timing is perfect. Well, it's about 3 years now we are trying to start business. And we still can't get the very name registered. We can't get the title from the title's office. Why, we just now work out the bank and hold up the thing, and we're supposed to get the loan, and we keep trying, and we can't get a borrow because nobody now lending, and every time we hear people, and when we hear nobody's there. It is not people that we are raising up, it is God's perfect timing. songwriter would let us know from the story of Lazarus in John's Gospel, John chapter 11, that even when Jesus is 4 days late, he's always on time. For he's an on-time God. He stops us on the billboard. It never changes. It's not delayed. It's not cancelled. But it is on time. See, I get it. Because there's naturally a conflict between our time and God's. But can I tell someone today, don't jump the gun at the starting blocks. You wait until God gives you the goal. For many of us, we're jumping ahead. Many of us, we're false starting the race. And we wonder why all these things are happening to us. We must wait on God's timing. Many times, because we are comparing ourselves to others, we think that we're not doing something wrong. Many times, because we continue to contrast ourselves, we're looking at how others are doing and what others are achieving. We're looking, and that is why some people can't even celebrate when others find success, because we just get one man and go down there with it. Go down there and put in effort, and nobody now recognize me. You don't recognize that the one we don't class. Next. God is working it out for Sister Simone Bright. God bless you in all that you do. It means that God is still alive and well, and my time is coming. It's just that it is not dependent on me, but on my time. My time is always in conflict with God, but God's timing is always right. Secondly, not only is God's timing for us perfect, but the timing of your redemption is also perfect. You see, God has a way of just saving people at the right time. Jesus would have his disciples know in the Gospels that you did not choose me, I chose you. Many a times it might appear that way, that we are the ones who chose Christ. Christ says no. He's the one that does the choosing. Many are called, few are chosen. It is God who does the choosing. The timing of his redemption was perfect when he came. So I want you, my brothers and sisters, to know that your redemption is already paid for. Jesus paid it all. All to him I owe, says the hymn. Sin has left a crimson stain, but he washed it white as snow. God is not worthy of your redemption. He has already paid for it with his own blood. Hallelujah. I The moment that